Safety is not gained by wishing or forcing a feeling. It only comes as a natural response to understanding you are taken care of and fulfilled in this very moment. Although this mindset can calm your nervous system, providing clarity and more presence, it is a temporary, fluctuating state. Security, on the other hand, is an identity built on safety through the choice of maintaining it. It's trusting yourself to choose your best interest at every moment. This is not a one-time switch you turn on, creating a never-ending state of safety and therefore security. It's a commitment of continuous practice, much like muscle growth. Security is built through repetition and alignment with your needs. This builds strong, healthy muscles of self-reliance and trust. Just like if you stop exercising, if you were to stop acting in your best interests, those muscles of self-reliance and trust start to weaken. That's why we're going to learn how to maintain what we have and head towards a path of positive growth, where we can cultivate a habit that we can continuously use on our journey. One, providing a real guarantee to ourselves, not just a fleeting feeling. With that, let's dive straight into the disconnect that perpetuates self-distrust. Trust gaps occur for one main reason. You have needs, but you aren't acting to fulfill them. This creates a gap between where you are and where you need to be. You can close this gap with a self-security loop. This can also be remembered through your 3 R's. Recognize, respond, and record the evidence. It's an applicable loop that you can use at any stage of self-trust. And here, you will first recognize where your need is undermet or about to be threatened, noticing how you have yet to act in a supportive way. This is where you see the gap between your actions and what needs to be done for your safety and fulfillment. Next, you respond by taking proper action necessary to close that gap, ensuring the need is currently satisfied to the best of your ability. Lastly, you will record evidence, taking note of the results that came about from your choices. This acts as proof to your nervous system that you can keep track of, working with your pattern-recognizing body to ingrain the information needed to build an identity of trustworthiness. This will be our focus, building that reputation of self-trust, one that says, I am reliable and I trust myself to act in my best interest always. Each effort you follow through on, big or small, adds a piece of evidence to your reputation file. Each time you ignore gaps in consistency, your nervous system collects more proof that you are not reliable. Yet, every time you do choose to close those gaps, no matter how small, you shrink that gap of trust and strengthen your security with yourself. So whether your file backs you as your biggest hater or biggest supporter, there is always room to build, if not maintain. Because life is not about the absence of discomfort. Even real safety includes such. Instead, it's about the ability to stay present with yourself in discomfort and make beneficial use out of it, finding a way to maintain fulfillment in any and all circumstances. This turns moments of discomfort into circumstances that promote growth. And by getting clear on your vague feelings, properly identifying why they occur, will guide you towards fulfillment, as by recognizing what you truly want, you can illuminate the direct actions you are taking or not taking, responsible for creating the misalignment. This will also allow you to understand your needs and what is necessary for their fulfillment. This is by diving into why. Why did the prior action feel the safest? Why is something actually more aligned? Such questions are worth asking when you use the self-security loop, because they stop the behavior in its tracks and help it prevent it from reoccurring. Use these questions in the first step of the loop, recognition, which we will cover more in depth in just a moment. Now that we understand what this loop looks like, let us see how it looks at different stages of self-trust and see how truly versatile this loop is, to be able to use it when maintaining trust or just starting to build it. When looking at self-trust as a scale, we can see two extremes of there is a complete lack to all one has is trust for themselves. And of course, somewhere is a mingle of both, seeing evidence for both sides in the middle. In this video, I want to use 3 levels to demonstrate this loop in action. Such levels will reflect the scale just mentioned. This will look like level 1, I don't know how to rely on myself. Level 2, I act for myself sometimes, but not enough. And level 3, I make safety my way of life. For each level, the self-security loop stays the same while only changing the depth of your action. By incorporating this loop whenever you want to create more safety in your life, you will be able to support yourself in the best way possible. Whether it looks like adding more of what is wanted or removing what is hurting you. In any case, it'll move you towards your own fulfillment. Let's see how this goes. Level 1. At this level, safety starts with noticing it. Maybe it's the way you can suddenly breathe when something lands right, or the way you feel free to chat without constraints. Sometimes, though, safety can be identified in the lack, like the urge to withdraw, a racing heart, or a mind switch to high alert. Noticing these signals are the first step of the self-security loop. Recognize. Here, you become aware of what actually equals safety for you and what doesn't. At level 1, the evidence often shows we haven't reliably taken care of ourselves, so trust is limited. That is okay. First, we need to learn our needs so we can act in alignment with them. Take your time. This step is vital. It's laying the foundation for everything that follows. Again, this is where you observe what's helpful to add versus what to reduce. Next, respond. Start with one small action that moves you towards your safety. Something simple and doable. Sit down, breathe, walk in nature, drink a cup of water, or perhaps stand for a moment to stretch. This can also look like speaking up with a "I need a pause" or simply not responding right away. These are going to be tiny choices that will mean a lot to your nervous system. Each one provides proof that you can be trusted, that you notice and understand what you truly need, and you act on it. All of which will be used in the last third step, recording the results. Afterwards, note what happened. Say to yourself or write, "I noticed," insert unmet need. "I did," insert proactive action, and "this changed," insert result. Recording evidence in any manner, in your head, journal, or on your phone is essential. And for those with self-trust, this is where your identity shift starts, building proof that you can learn to rely on. One where you can find yourself trusted to invest in what's necessary, trusted to follow through in the actions for that safety, and also trusted because you see the results of those actions, and you see that your nervous system has rest even for a little bit. You fulfilled what is needed, and that is your proof that you do act in your best interests. Each level will also be provided 2 steps aligned to their capacity of trust. For level 1, practices that may benefit go as follows. 1. Self-visualization, the act of creating a mental movie where you are choosing safety. See yourself set a boundary, calmly walk away, or say something that you always wanted to. This is a wonderful practice for those who find it hard to believe they can be safe or act in accordance to their safety. You aren't asking yourself to prove that it's real. You're simply providing the space to picture what safety could feel like. This is somewhere you can expose what Safety can feel like in a believable way to your nervous system. And number 2, sensory check-ins. The act of becoming aware of the individual sensations occurring. Pause and notice. What is your breathing like? Does your body feel tense or relaxed? What does it feel like where you're positioned? Note the pressure, be it upon your feet, back, or butt. Are you cold? Are you comfy or warm? Do not fix anything, just observe. This naturally brings you presence with your nervous system, something your nervous system can register as you're here and you're not abandoning yourself. You're available and present. For stage 1, this is about introduction, not mastery. You're seeing little by little that you can be present with yourself and choose yourself in small but quiet ways. This is all that's being asked of you to start building self-trust today. Level 2. At this level, safety starts with recognizing the thought and emotional patterns that keep you stuck in unsafety, while understanding the reasoning behind those gaps. When you feel helpless, do you withdraw? When you feel unsure, do you avoid or perhaps obsessively assess? This can also appear as noticing how feelings of pressure might lead to people-pleasing or feelings of scarcity having you hold on to what drains you. In any case, you are recognizing how each pattern works, noting the thoughts and emotions that drive the actions not in your favor. This is how becoming aware of your actions, then you can decide whether you want to continue that behavior, understanding the reasoning behind it. Remember, these old perspectives did their best to keep you safe with the amount of knowledge that they knew at the time. Choices may have been the best only to what they knew, their perspective, not objectively. So ask yourself those 2 questions from earlier. 1, why did that prior action feel safest? And 2, why is something actually more aligned? This will point you towards what needs you thought you were receiving by entertaining that unhelpful pattern. Also, some additional questions to ask that might be helpful are: what beliefs do you hold when it comes to standing up for yourself? What conditions have you placed when it's okay to act? And what needs weren't being met, showing what to better act on for fulfillment. From here, respond by taking slightly bolder, even scarier actions. This is where you're expanding your capacity for what's comfortable and safe to act on. You're proving that if you act on your needs, they will be met, even if you're scared and even if you're unsure. This aligned action rooted in understanding why you were scared will soften the intensity, if not remove the fear completely. And as always, we have to record the evidence. When you focus on how you're improving in the areas you struggle with, you build solid proof that you're adaptable and agile enough to handle all types of terrain, smooth and easy to rough and challenging. And for level 2, here are your recommended practices. First, we have shadow work journaling, writing to explore the deeper patterns and why behind behaviors that don't serve you. This involves asking questions like, what makes me uncomfortable or upset and why? What narrative surrounds it, and is it accurate to reality? What made it feel unsafe to act in my best interests? And when was the first time that my safety was met with restriction? This is an intensely powerful practice for those who want to expose the real root cause behind not just their actions, but their emotions and thoughts. The place where you learn who you are while unlearning what has restricted you from full expression. The second practice we have is micro-boundaries. These are small, low-risk boundary experiments that build self-trust through action. Examples may include saying, let me get back to you on that, instead of immediately saying yes. Stepping out of draining conversations. Speaking up to safe people, naming feelings that might be slightly uncomfortable. Or not checking your messages, work or personal, after a set time, such as 8 p.m. Any boundaries you set here are unlikely to cause severe relational or practical damage. This is what a low-risk boundary is, manageable with minimal room for large consequences. To give you a small preview, in Level 3, you'll work with high-risk boundaries, where the results of your actions may cause significant or severe consequences. These low-risk boundaries give you your first exposure to discomfort and the unknown without overwhelming you. This way, you can build capacity to take on even the most extreme boundaries after consistent practice. With Level 2 concluded, you can see this stage is about consistency, not perfection. It's about showing yourself you can recognize the patterns pulling you away from what is best for you, and you can interrupt them with small, aligned actions, even if it's risky or uncomfortable. That's all you're being asked of at this stage, to see the pattern, to take action, and trust each time you do, you're proving to yourself exactly why you can be relied on when it matters. And Level 3. At this level, safety starts with recognizing the habits you're living out, whether they match the safety you want. This is the stage where you live in full dedication to your needs, no matter how easy or difficult it may be to achieve. What habits do you have? Name the ones you're most aware of. What habits does your ideal self have when living a life of full satisfaction? And what are you doing that supports the life you want versus what are you not doing? By identifying what habitual actions you make on autopilot, you can maximize what serves you and eliminate what doesn't. Whether those are actions that you need to start taking or actions you need to avoid. Here, action carries the highest risk, but because of our prior reputation of self-trust, we know that regardless what results come about, we will continue to ensure our best interest is fulfilled. This trust allows you to face consequences of any kind, recognizing that what falls apart never had sturdy foundation in the first place. And you prioritize the most stable foundations, which means any outcome ultimately works in your favor. Did your actions lead to something falling apart? It wasn't capable of withstanding the pressure. On the other hand, your actions lead to repair? Everything involved was suited to grow stronger and into more fulfillment. This is where you take action that you find to be best suited in the areas that truly need it most. When you've been doing the same thing in your relationship, work, or personal life, yet something is still off, something is still left unsatisfied, unspoken, or unaccounted for, this is the level you face it directly and act on what has been silently begging for your attention. Lastly, you'll refer to the results and collect the evidence they provide. In every thought and action you show yourself there is truly nothing you won't face and truly nothing you won't find a solution for. You prove to yourself that there is no person or circumstance that chains you to them. The illusion that they are your sole source of getting your needs met is dissolved through experience and direct proof that you are resourceful enough and not bound to anything. A time where your evidence will continue to show you that your choices are what lead you to fulfillment, and in so, the importance of meeting your need decenters from anyone else or anything else, rightfully centering all importance and responsibility back on you, the only one that can choose what is best for you. Jumping straight into the two practices tailored for Level 3, we have an ignored needs investigation. Here, you're diving into one specific need you've deliberately been ignoring, not just slightly unfulfilled, you've denied and dismissed it. You'll first explore why you've been doing this. What caused you to ignore this need? Did it feel safer or easier to dismiss it? Did acknowledging it make you uncomfortable? And was there shame around the need? After understanding yourself better, take one action that honors this need. even if it disrupts your normal routine or even requires you to let someone down. Remember, others' expectations of you are none of your business, nor something you can control. Only your expectation matters, so make sure you know what you want and why, so you can unwaveringly and confidently go after it. Of course, with this practice, you will have to record your final step and build that reputation, because you might as well be conscious of it. And for those struggling to point out an ignored need, some examples might include, but not limited to, rest, solitude, pleasure, saying no, personal fulfillment, being prioritized, creative expression, and or feeling taken care of. With our second practice, we have a foundation test. This is where you will pick one area you have been trying to keep the peace or go with the flow to avoid disruptions. Using the perspective of, if this job, relationship, or belief is truly best for me, then you will have to test that. You will then take one action to advocate and support for your safety, even if it feels like something might collapse as a result. Then observe. Did it actually fall apart? If it did, that's useful information. Or does it grow and bend stronger? You have to see if it has a solid foundation. This practice might look like sharing a truth you've been hiding to keep things smooth, no longer managing someone else's emotions to see if they can handle reality themselves, and or you stop performing and start acting more authentically to see if you are truly compatible. In any case, you will act in a way that applies pressure to what you want to keep and refine, because all that is meant to last must be made strong and sturdy, and you will only know that by experience. For level 3, the stage is about commitment, not comfort. Comfort is what we know, often without growth and no unknowns, so there's nothing to learn. Comfort is a great place to stay if all is perfect, but when you are on a journey of self-improvement, you must actively choose discomfort that is present. This is to be aware of what is not working and to develop what is not yet mature. For as long as there is pain, there is more to grow into, a standard yet to be met, and a self yet to be fully satisfied. That means we cannot choose to stay comfortable enough, not if discomfort still exists. Instead, we dedicate ourselves to something greater, a comfort beyond temporary breadcrumbs, but a constant feast we can indulge in. This is the level you realize facing the temporary pain presents an opportunity to transmute what was lacking into an abundant overflow, to turn pain into pleasure, discomfort into satisfaction. Now that you have seen the self-security loop at every level, here's one final tool to make it stick. The self-security scorecard. On a note card or piece of paper, create a 3-column chart every week that tracks at least 3 things, 3 experiences, of what you recognized, how you responded, and the evidence recorded. This is a simple practice to habitualize the self-security loop. With I noticed X, I responded by doing Y, and this resulted in Z. You can even date these and keep them in a file, so, you can go check in when you need the extra confidence on trusting yourself, because you'll have the undeniable proof at hand. This isn't wishful thinking. This is a blueprint you can actually use to build a secure life. And now you know what it means to be safe and what it means to cultivate security as a constant. All you need to do is start building. Contact my email, lunashealinglounge@gmail.com, to book a personalized security building session, where we can discover what is actually holding you back and plan tailored sessions for your lifestyle. At any stage of self-trust, there's always something you can refine or optimize to achieve greater fulfillment. It will be up to you to find out what that is, and now you have everything you need to figure it out. Take care of yourself and be sure to use the skill of preventative maintenance. Security can only stay if you continuously choose it. Take care. Bye.